And then over the period of like since 2015 to now, we've probably cooked up a song pretty much every time we met each other. That's the amount of music that we've written together. The thinking behind doing music videos is just to give a new flavor to the track altogether, and people's expectations and people's understanding of my music is very different, right? Because everybody perceives my music a certain way. I think the other day, my dogs inspired me to write a song, which I didn't know was possible because I didn't have pets all my life. But now I guess I'm attached to my dogs. I feel like my music is very synonymous with their music, right? They're very, very celebratory about like, this celebrations is they're thematically celebration all the time, right?
Hello, Ritviz. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Prakash and that's Sam. So your new single, Sathi, from your collaborative album with Nucleya is out. My personal favorites are still Udgaye and, Udgaye and Stage and a few others. So tell us about this collaborative album and how it came to be and why now?
Yeah, so I think Udyan and I, we've known each other for a good while now. Like I met him in 2015, and obviously at that point, I was a 19-year-old kid who was just starting out, and like every other kid in the country, Udyan Nucleya was the biggest thing in the country, and like it was just amazing to have him watch me perform for the first time. This is back in 2015, and then when we met, obviously like a sync pretty much started to build from like right there and then when we spoke a little bit, and then I think the relationship started to like take form almost 6-7 years ago. And then over the period of like since 2015 to now, we've probably cooked up a song pretty much every time we met each other. That's the amount of music that we've written together, because like I think both of us really have a very similar understanding of what our music is, which is basically a reaction to whatever it is that we're going through, right? So if it's a good conversation with me and Udyan, that's a song. Look, so that's basically how it's been like with him in the last couple of years. And I think this was the year, I think even with the pandemic and everything, we got so much time to just sit and like organize a little bit, I guess, and then we figured, okay, cool, this is the year we're gonna put some of the music out. I know there's only 8 songs that we probably handpicked, but there's so much more that probably didn't make it to the track list, and we might do something in the future. But yeah, this is basically to give you a concise understanding of what Udyan and my relationship has been like musically. Yeah.
I also hope to hear the songs that you haven't released.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay, so there's one thing that I want to ask. In fact, I told you that my favorite singles are Udgaye and Sage. I also realized that the video was phenomenally done. The video part of the songs were phenomenally done. Did you think that, or do you think that video is very essential for an album to amplify the success?
For sure. I think a visual identity is important to make the listener experience a world that you're trying to create with the song, right? And we've always believed that with the kind of music videos that like we've done, just specifically like my solo stuff has been very video different world meeting audio. They're not in the same sphere, right? And that's what makes it so exciting. So that just became like a format of sort. And I think it's just a very epic experience for a listener, right? And apart from that, I think that was always the goal. That was always the thinking behind doing music videos, is just to give a new flavor to the track altogether, and yeah. That's why we started doing this, and now it's become like, okay, cool, we've built like a little universe with all the music videos and all the characters, and we try to connect them in some way or sorts. Yeah,
it comes across very beautifully. Yes,
it's quite fun also, especially Sage was a really fun video to watch.
honestly, I've been so lucky to have found the right people to work with who've obviously like come up with such bizarre but like exciting ideas, right? Where, if you listen to a Sage or a Urga, it could have been a very traditional video, a very conventional, oh my God, boy meets girl. And how but like just the fact that we decided to pick an idea, which was just like, hey, but do I focus on the audio or do I focus on the video? I think that was the selling point, right? That it's so exciting to have these two merge together and marry each other. So yeah, so just very lucky to have found the right people. So just shout out to all of my visual folks, Catnip to Jagad, all of them. Much love.
Awesome. So a month ago, you released Khamoshi with Karan.
Yeah.
Again, it received a lot of love, as always, as all your other singles. Could you tell us about it? Also, there was a kind of, you had to move the release dates, right, for Khamoshi and Sathi?
Yeah, yeah.
So did these, I'd like to know if these deadlines kind of hampered your whole creative process, and how did you deal with it?
Okay, this is funny because I set these deadlines. Okay, so it's like I am my worst enemy, right? Like I'm just like, I tell myself, okay, this is around this date, I know that I will deliver. Like that's how it usually works. But I think in the process, sometimes I think just, I do the creative juices sometimes just stop flowing. So I mean, it's my very hardcore family folk fans hate me for this. But it's something that I truly believe that I want to deliver quality at the end of the day, because once the song is out, it's out. You're not gonna get a reverse on that, right? So I try my best to stick to the deadlines that I set. Because I feel like when I do, then it also pushes me to like come closer to the finished product. So it works, but also a lot of times it's caused like enough problems with my very close people. Are like, hey, why did you announce? I'm like, but guys, I announced, that's why I got to this point, and I'm just now trying to finish it. But anyway, but like right now I think we're at a point where I think my team and like a lot of people around me also have we all like believe in putting out the best 100% version of something that we truly believe in. And yeah, just keeping at it, and I hope to like get back on track with the deadlines and all, because yeah, that's a big one. That's a big time management is a learning for me.
And if you can talk about the track as well,
the next
Khamoshi.
one?
Khamoshi.
Oh, we're talking about Khamoshi. Yeah. So Khamoshi was a very interesting song for us, me and Karan. I remember when we started writing it, also took about a year to come about finishing that song. I think it was obviously centered around the fact that, being at home, where the pandemic had left us, and like just the feeling of being isolated and all that was, I think I released Roshni and Khamoshi under the same umbrella about our experiences through the pandemic, and how like just 2 years ago, what a life was, like just a state of mind, basically, if I had to really like dumb it down. But yeah, that's more or less it.
Interesting. We're all trying to cope up with our timelines, our own timelines.
Absolutely, yeah. It's
deadlines are always like running us crazy. So you and Nucleya have released your NFTs, Non-Fungible Tokens.
Yes.
What made you venture into this new trend, and how's the response been so far? I believe it was done August 15th, right? So how's the response been so far, and would you recommend that to other artists as well?
Oh, this was a very big experiment that we. First of all, I need to just give a huge shout out to my manager Rahul, because this was his idea, and he'd obviously been like reading about NFTs and the whole crypto world and everything. And once we like understood more about it, it was like this is something that we felt like this could be definitely something that could blow up and like turn out. And like I think we're the first set of artists also that have been doing this, and it was pretty epic. Like I think we sold out all our NFTs. The first round of NFTs, I think we did about 10 NFTs, and in a day or two we sold out all. Which obviously that was pretty epic. And I mean, I wasn't expecting that response, but just to know that this is a new possible set of like work display and stuff, that it's just like it opens up. It's like, opening up your horizon a little bit. So it's just very exciting. I'm still learning a lot about that world, but I have the people who are like telling me, educating me about this, and I just feel like, this is awfully fun. I think people really, and I think it's also giving us exciting new ideas to like present certain elements of my music or Udyan's music, and all in all, a very fun thing to do at the moment. And there's over like 60 NFTs that we're planning to drop over the course of next 6 months. So then we're like totally like, going for it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's really amazing. And
yeah.
So last year you were the most streamed artist in the indie scene. Could you tell us how did that feel, and did you expect that to happen? And what would you tell to like artists who are still trying to get make their mark into the industry or enter into the industry?
Extremely humbled, extremely like this I mean, when we found out, it sort of just like brings perspective into thinking, okay, we're in 2021 now, and sort of like you start like, you get into this, I got into a very retrospective mode where I'm just looking back to my last 6 years and what the journey has been like, because like you've been constantly on the move, right? I think we acknowledge, and I could speak for a lot of artists, right? My friends also, where we just like, we're on it, it's a run. And looking back is, I don't know how often other people reflect. I don't tend to a lot, but it's things like this that sort of put you in that retrospective mode, right? It was like, okay, all right, this is 6 years ago. I was over there, and it's insane that the love has been like so constant and amazing. And I just, I'm so grateful to everybody that cares about my music. It's extremely humbling. So yeah, it sort of just sets perspective, I guess.
And it's also a huge responsibility, right? Now, I mean,
absolutely.
There's more expectation from people, and
absolutely. Yeah. I think that's, although I will tell you, that has always been something that I have tried to mull away from a little bit. And that's a really good point that you presented, because for me, and I'd love to talk about this, because I think people's expectations and people's understanding of my music is very different, right? Because everybody perceives my music a certain way. When I started writing music, I wrote music for me, right? In the hopes that people would also enjoy it, right? So even today, I cannot let people come in the way of how I feel about my music, right? Because today I need to continue feeling like that, okay, am I enjoying this? So it, as narcissistic as it sounds, it needs to be this format in order for me to put out the music that will cater to a crowd, right? Because the minute I start thinking about people and their expectations, which comes naturally, right? Like it's a thing on the course, you're going to think about people and what everyone's talking about and everything. I try to stay away from that. Even social media and stuff, I don't always like immerse myself in the feedback and in the response and all of that, because I just truly, that's like I just said, I think it's something that I think will affect the way I make music, so coming to your thing, I think that's something that I stay away from, right? It's always been about the journey inwards and like just finding out what else that can excite me. I might have an audience today that loves my music, but I would rather like an audience that loves me, so they would understand my steps that I take. I would make certain set of music now that would cater to my audience. If they're attached to that music, then I might disappoint them tomorrow because I'll be evolving, So my only thing is that if I talk about audience, I would love for them to evolve with me, because I know that my sound is also changing a lot. Anyway, so I just went on a tangent and I spoke about this, but yeah.
That's good.
Coming
it's
back
really
to
good you spoke about this. It's a very important point for all artists, in fact, because if you have to cater to, like you said, you'll be catering to various different types of audiences, so it'll be practically impossible to cater to all of them at the same time. Yeah. That's a good point, though.
Yeah, it's a good point, and that brings me to my next question. You were talking about your sound, right? So your music and your sound. We've been trained in classical music, and we can see that influence in your music. How did you decide that this was your sound, that this was your music?
This is a very subconscious decision, right? Because for me, making music is basically like how, like, oh my God, I went, like, for example, we go through something and then our first reaction to that is to whether tell our friends about it or maybe respond to, I hope I'm setting a good example here, but what I'm trying to say is that music is basically expression, right? So I purely look at it like, hey, I am going through certain things that any regular 25-year-old would go through, but my expression is music rather than I like it's just my output is music, right? So even back when I started making music, it was just my pure expression that, like, okay, cool, I'm gonna sit and write, but I'm not thinking about writing a song. For me, it's just like I'm feeling sad today, or I'm feeling happy today. So my output is those emotions. So over time, what probably happened with my learning of Indian classical and my influence with like the West hip hop and VH1 Top 40, all of that, I think what probably happened in the subconscious was that this culmination probably must have taken place where my output was that, like, my format was Indian classical, but the content was very actually no, my format would have been probably Western and like the content was very classically inclined. So however you want to like describe my music, even I don't know, it's a very complex thing to answer, but I think that formula sort of probably must have like happened inside my head because I only just thought about like, writing, didn't focus on how I was writing. That was thoda sa coming through as a flow, right? So yeah, it's just like a bunch of influences in your life.
It just happened, and how people don't just their perception, like you just mentioned.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just like a set of influences in your life that like make you, yeah, that's probably my sound, and that's why I think I listen to I'm now starting to learn and listen to other styles and a lot more that would probably inspire me to do some more, crazy culminations in the future. Who knows? So that the idea is to like keep a constant set of learning that is there. So this keeps happening. Yeah.
Great.
Amazing. So I'd like to know so we currently live in an age where collaborations has become a very huge thing, especially post pandemic. We see a lot of artists collaborating with each other. And you have also done a lot of collaborations with different artists. So what is your take on collaborations, and how do you go about picking the artists that you want to collaborate with?
So collaborations for me is very new. It's a new world for me. Especially because I don't think I am the best person to collaborate with, and I am usually the villain here because I'm very, very nitpicky about the little things, and it's always been that case with me from the start. But I got very lucky. So my album with Seedhe Maut and Nucleya both happened very effortlessly because both acts I had a very good sync with, and once that match sort of like takes place in the first go, right, where you're just having a conversation. It's not even like, hey, we'll sit down and make music. No, we're just probably like grabbing chai and, like talking about things. And the next thing we know is that we've written down like a couple of lines, so I think that format does not make it feel like we're collaborating even, it's how I write music. So but also it's so rare to find that, right? When you find like-minded people, things are sort of more effortless into like coming in sync and like figuring out what we're going to do and stuff. वो सब बात करते ही नहीं है, it's like a very immediate reaction to whatever we're like dealing with and stuff. Same as how I write music solo. It almost feels like suddenly me and Seedhe Maut or me and Nucleya are suddenly a band. Like it should just like feel like that. So that's how I think it's worked out for me in the past. I hadn't collaborated as much. For me, for the longest time, I think up until last year, for me it was all about establishing my sound. I was still figuring out what it is that Ritviz wants to do, and I feel like my solo stuff had to be established before I could experiment with other people, So last year I felt like, okay, cool. I think I have sort of set the understanding of what Ritviz is, but what Ritviz can be is where the collaboration started, and now my sound with, say, a Seedhe Maut or a Nucleya together is a new sound, right? It's Baaraat. Me and Nucleya is Baaraat. I will not announce my album with Seedhe Maut here, but together we're like, it's a new sound, right? So now that's what's exciting for me. Collaborations is exciting because it's two sounds meeting each other and it's a third new sound. So that's what I think about collaborating.
So maybe you can talk a little bit about Baaraat, about the upcoming songs from that album.
So we have released Sathi, right? That's the first song. We will be releasing the next song tomorrow. Today is what? I don't know when this interview comes out, but if today is 24th. So on the 25th of August, we release the second song, right? And it's called Ari Ari. And the rest 6 songs will be coming out over the course of, till October. So we're going to try and wrap this up as soon as we can. And then we'll get on with the Seedhe Maut album. That's the plan. Yeah.
Wow. That's very exciting. We can't wait to listen to the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoy it.
Of course. Do we get to hear your music in mainstream Bollywood?
Maybe. Maybe there's a couple of projects in the pipeline. And it's really refreshing to know that in all sectors, everywhere, right? Like I think in the last course of like 3-4 years of my being in the music industry and having to learn about the film industry and the fashion industry, whatever I have learned is that there's like-minded people everywhere. So there is a scope of collaboration in all fields. So it's epic. I think it's lovely to be in this position that I'm even able to collaborate with some like really epic minds. So but to answer your question again, maybe. Yeah.
So as an artist, could you break down your process of making music? What is it that comes to your mind first? What are you inspired by? And if you can just take us through your process of creating a song, it would be really nice.
Yeah, I wish it was like an exciting thing to share. It's honestly a very boring process, and like I think I answered this in one of your last questions also, that it's as simple as like taking a walk, right? Or like I'm telling you, it's all the basic human stuff that all of us do, right? Like and I think the only difference is how I channel all those like emotions, right? It's just that. So I could have a regular conversation with my dad about things, and however I feel about that, and if it is inspiring me in whatever way, and anything can inspire me, right? I think the other day my dogs inspired me to write a song, which I didn't know was possible because I didn't have pets all my life, but now I guess I'm attached to my dogs, so it's I just recently got my dogs, to give you context. So I think anybody or anything that we strongly feel for will naturally like affect us in a good way or a bad way, whatever, and then there'll be an output, and that's the music for me, you know. So yeah, it's basically that. It's like a regular day. As a 25-year-old, I'm going to the gym in the morning, coming back. Something inspired me. I have sat on my laptop, started making music. And I think my latest thing, what really intrigues me these days is that I try to understand. First used to be very instantaneous, right? Where I would just like feel things and I would write music. Yeah. Now it's become more of like, okay, I'm understanding how I'm feeling. Okay. And I sort of recognize the emotions. And then when I write the song, it gives me a little more clarity on what it is that the song is about. You know, if earlier it used to be more mysterious in a sense that, okay, cool. I'm not even sure what I felt, but certain songs have come out, right? And over time, over a period of time, I would realize, okay, I was feeling like this when I think back to the time. Now I take like serious amount of time to think about, okay, cool. Yeah, because you're really happy right now and you feel these things, blah, blah. And I know it sounds obvious, but like sometimes we don't even know what's going on in our subconscious, right? And I recognize those emotions and then I start to write music. And writing music is the most boring thing one can imagine because you're just in front of your screen playing around with melodies. Okay, this note looks nice. No, this note sounds nice. No, we should. And it's a lot of trial and error. And sometimes a song is ready overnight. Sometimes it takes 2 years. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You know what I can tell you guys.
Yeah. You've answered it very well in a nutshell.
Yeah. And I can see that you're very humble and down to earth, and you're like, I like how you try to portray yourself. Like, I'm just this. I like how
but it is very true. I'm not even trying to be like slightly modest about this. If I could actually do a day in the life, and if I could install if you could, and I know I'm saying this, if you install a GoPro in my room without telling me, I know that's messed up, but I'm actually allowing this because I need to be completely unaware that there's a GoPro, and then you would realize how boring this is. Like it's a very, very regular process of like anybody's. I feel like I have my lawyer friends, and I just like I just get fascinated listening to how they fight cases, and I'm like, I wish my work was as exciting. But yeah.
Now that you told us about the GoPro, we will get to action.
All right.
We'll talk to Rahul, and it happened now. It might happen later, but
you will never know.
We're definitely going to try this out.
Damn it.
So, tell us about your Major Lazer's Light It Up remix and how it happened.
Oh, that was very exciting. I think for me, I have very few artists that I truly like enjoy and look up to, and Major Lazer definitely is a band for me, right? Because I feel like my music is very synonymous with their music, right? They're very, very celebratory about like, you know, this celebrations is they're thematically celebration all the time, right? And I feel like my music also falls in that sphere a little bit. So I relate a lot to them. So I think when they reached out, I think this was 2019, if I'm not wrong. I'm actually not sure of the year. It was 2019, I'm guessing. It was 2019 Diwali. And
October 2019.
Yes. I remember that. Yeah, 2019. And when they reached out, it was like, hello, I'm on it. And yeah, I think I remember making that remix overnight. That was an overnight process. Yeah. I just gotten done with a show, you know, Daipur, and I remember writing that song there. Yeah. The remix.
Overnight, that's brilliant.
Yeah, that was an overnight thing. I was really excited. I was extremely excited. So that, and now cut to now, there was another remix that was in the works, but didn't work out. But like, it's epic to just have them as people that I can even send my music to now. It's really epic. I love them. I love you guys. But yeah. Right.
So can you tell us about your gear? The gear you use or the software you use, be it your headphones or anything for that
matter? So I use my gear is basically the laptop that I'm currently talking to you guys. That's my MacBook Pro, right? This is what I've been using since the last 5-6 years. I remember using a pair of skull candies when I was starting out, when I was in 7th. And this is not even starting, I was in school, and these are my early days of composing music. I always keep a pair of skull candies with me because it reminds me of how I listened to music back in the day, right? For me, like my gear is very anti a professional musician's gear, right? Because like all the flat frequency headphones and all of that require to hear the, all of the right frequencies that you need to hear, everything, all of that, I tend to just leave to my dear sound engineer. But for me, my listening needs to be the same way that I used to back in the day, which is a pair of skull candies. So I listen to my music on that. I have a couple of beats lying around, and that's the thing. If I was just following the simple rules of like a music producer and just listen to music on like monitor speakers and flat frequency headphones, I would not have to listen to music on like 4 different things, right? But I'm a rebel. I will do that. So I go ahead and listen to music on 4 different things just to have a different experience every time. But that's something that everyone makes fun of me also, but I keep doing that. That's basically, and just that's my process of like listening to audio. So yeah, skull candies. I have like a pair of beats. I'm basically telling all the brand names that like people will really judge me on, because this is the stuff that you should not judge audio with. I know, but it is what it is. Audio Technicas, maybe people will judge me a little less now. Yeah, so that's my headphones. That's my set of headphones. Yeah, and what else gear mein aur kya bataun main? I have like a MIDI keyboard. I use a Akai MIDI keyboard. That's like a tiny keyboard that I carry with my laptop. So I'm all about the portable life, because I'm always on the run. Something's going on. So I don't have like a desktop setup. It's always like a laptop and like a keyboard setup to go along with it. So I make sure that all of my gear is also like travel friendly, so that, apart from that, that's pretty much it. Everything is this laptop. I would say all of my gear is also plugins and software oriented. So hardware, mein, that's pretty much it. Things that I can think of right now. Yeah,
that's really cool. And like you just mentioned, you like really downplay your stuff on, I don't know. So let's go to the last segment of the interview. It's just one word answers. I hope you like answering one word. These are about people or the topics that we're going to ask you. One word about them or the topic. Nucleya. One word.
Sathi. Yeah.
See them out. Let's try and get something out.
Let's try and get something out. I really don't want to reveal. They get so mad at me. But I will say 2 words. Pyari baatein. Yeah.
Interesting. Divine.
Mera bhai. I know it's again, but like it's a song also. So
Yeah.
Or it'll be funny. Yeah, but it's true.
Bollywood.
Bollywood. A word that I can find for Bollywood.
Bollywood music, actually.
Okay, related to music.
Yeah. Bollywood music.
I would. This is hard. I'll tell you why it's hard. There's a couple of reasons why it's hard. And I don't know why you guys asked me this, because there is like a lot of like understanding with Ritviz in Bollywood. I will skip this one because I want to nail this one. So
there's a reason why we asked you this.
हम सोचेंगे इसके बारे में.
Why do you think we included this? Why do you think we included this? We're not going to let you go. Anyway,
let's continue. Yeah.
There's nothing. That's about it.
That's it?
That
was the end?
Yeah. I mean, you really disappointed us with the closing.
I really did. I was thinking of something like close to like clever, but I couldn't. I was just like, nah, that's not it. But you guys are now really expecting me to say something. This interview is over. It is over, guys. It's done. Everybody watch it.
Thank you. This is
Ritviz with Score Magazine. What's happening? Oh, man.
but honestly,
But no, for real,
thank yeah.
thank
But
you.
honestly, thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for
much.
your time. We love your music, and we were extremely excited. I was extremely personally excited. My team was extremely excited. I was like, wow, Ritviz, because the video editor,
You have
Kiran,
so many
and
fans.
everyone, we're all like, Ritviz, yeah, let's do this. But we just
Please
hope
say
that
hi. Please pass my hi to them. And please, sorry to interrupt you. Continue. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. And we just hope that we meet you in person someday, and then get to have
Yeah.
longer period slots for interview. And we love how you express your feelings and thoughts through music. I just loved interviewing you more than most of the others that I've interviewed. Quite
Thank you.
honestly,
This was
thank you
lovely.
so much.
This was lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you so
much.
much.
And we can't wait to
Hope,
hear your music. Thank you.
yes.